What's up everyone and welcome back to Wolfie. My name is Wolfie and today we're going to be taking a look at issue number 19 of the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. Let's take a look.
Shadow Basketball!
Still playing catch up, but I think we're going to be doing good today. I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'm going to give it a score. Let's begin. So everybody's probably been waiting for this one. Guys, this may be the first time we have had something to talk about when I say I dislike something. I know, right? Shocking. A first. So, it took 19 issues, but we finally found something I really didn't like. And that is how Shadow was written in the book. I'm just going to get that elephant in the room addressed right now. So, the good thing, though, about my review being late, at the date of this recording, some information came out about the writing of Shadow in this, about what Ian Flynn has said. Supposedly, take this with a grain of salt and go read up on it, but this is only from what I've heard. Ian Flynn spoke about the reason he wasn't really happy with the writing of this book and how Shadow was portrayed. Apparently, this goes back to the Sega mandates that we heard about a long time ago that are still in effect to this day. Apparently, Sega has some sort of clause about how Shadow needs to be written. He always needs to be kind of this hot-headed, hard-headed, almost Vegeta-esque, but to a crazy degree, right? Where normally, I think a lot of us, including even non-Shadow fans, would probably look at this situation and be like, this is uncharacteristic of Shadow to act like this. Like, we know that Shadow is upset. We know he's a little headstrong sometimes. He's aloofish. He doesn't really work well with... He can work well with others, but most of the time he prefers to kind of do his own thing. Here, it seems like he was just acting hard-headed just to get infected. And everybody knows that even though Shadow can be a little tough and rough around the edges, he, for the most part, has a lot of common sense. This isn't something he would probably do. Even if he was, like, angry and still prideful, he'd know, oh, wait, I'm infected. Or even if he got to the point where he was infected, oh, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take off and start running this thing off. Right? Like, he wouldn't keep fighting knowing he's gonna become fully infected. Unless there's some sort of plan or thing that he was working towards, which we saw he looked shocked about the whole thing, so I'm pretty sure that was all unplanned. But here's the thing. Now, it's easier said than done for correcting this, right? I'm not a writer. I don't claim to be. And, you know, Ian Flynn has the hardest job. Well, him and the writers have the hardest job in the world right now, which is having to work with the Sonic characters while still making sure they fall within Sega's mandated terms, right? He can't do certain things with the Sonic characters that he probably wants to do to avoid Ken Penders type situations. Not that Ian Flynn would probably pull something like that, but still. The mandates are a blessing and a curse because we can avoid weird, crazy Ken Pender shenanigans with family members showing up and them having love triangles and weird implications to sleeping with each other and stuff like that. That did happen during the Ken Penders era. Don't believe me? Look it up. But it's also a curse because now the characters are kind of becoming flanderized versions of themselves. And by that, I mean Shadow here kind of really acted out of character. Now, again, here's something I would have done. Here's like 3 things that could have been done here to maybe make this little plot point more believable. Here's the 3 ways I probably would have tried writing this. Again, I'm not a writer, so I don't know how this might have worked. But for me, if I was in charge of writing this book and Shadow absolutely had to be infected, I would have had it done this way. One of these 3 ways. 1, have Shadow sacrifice himself. Make it seem less that he's angry and that he's prideful about wanting to continue fighting the Zombots, and more make it seem like he's doing this to sacrifice, like he was holding them off. He absolutely needed to be there fighting, because if he was not there, the Zombots would maybe attack the people boarding the truck, or, you know, put more emphasis on, I need to be here to protect the people, right? Maria would have wanted this, you know, I'm sworn to protect humanity, so I'm gonna, you know, one last final fight to make sure they escape, or something like that, right? Make Shadow seem more heroic than I don't run, right? Less I don't run and more I'm gonna stop these things no matter what, even if I get infected here, right? That's one way to write around that. Second way, maybe have it be an accident, right? Or maybe he lets his guard down or something. Maybe he gets tired or winded or gassed, right? Maybe he does some last-ditch attack to try to push them back. Maybe a chaos blast or something, right? And then he kind of, kneels down tired and he's like, finally stopped them all. And maybe he looks at his hand and realizes he was infected somewhere during that battle. Maybe he accidentally touched something carelessly, right? It's less that he went out of his way to continue fighting knowing he was infected, and more it was, oops, I accidentally touched them, but I can't run because I'm too tired now, or something like that, right? That's number 2. Number 3, I'm trying to think. I think those 2 are probably the best ways I would have done that. Your ideas, please, those of you in the comments. Again, I know I gotta take what I heard with a grain of salt, but it sounds to me like that's something that probably would have happened, that Sega maybe mandated that Shadow acted a certain way, but still, I even with that said, I really didn't like how Shadow was done in this one. I'm not the biggest Shadow fan. I like Shadow the Hedgehog a lot, but even I have to go on my way and say, yeah, that was really uncharacteristic of him to act like that. That being said, the rest of the book is great. I think that's my only real big complaint with the book, was just that one plot point. But I trust in Ian Flynn enough that even with all these, even if the mandates, if the mandates are indeed true, I have enough faith in Ian Flynn and his writing team to kind of make this all work. Maybe we don't like how Shadow gets infected, but maybe we'll like how the story goes because of it, right? I have enough faith right now that this is going to eventually all tie itself together. It's all going to come in a neat little package, a little rough at the beginning, but we're going to be like, oh, okay, that's what they were building to. That's my hope anyway. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I didn't like it, but I'm sure they're going to, write and get this all worked out. That being said, I think that's the only real major gripe I have. Moving on to things I did like. Again, the artwork, great in this book. I love the art. I love the dialogue. One of the strongest things about this book is the characters, how they're written in it. Everything from how Tails was portrayed in the first few issues, how he worried about Sonic again because it's implied that after Forces he's still a little messed up about what happened to Sonic. Stuff like that, little character moments, like when Sonic's talking to Whisper and giving her a personal space. The writers really seem to understand the characters here, and they write them very well. The back and forth exchanges between Sonic and Omega and stuff like that, and how Omega is written to be like, just this, I'm obsessed with destroying Eggman robots, and he doesn't see the Zombots as anything but a threat. He's helping, but at the same time kind of accomplishing his goal. That's something I really enjoy about how they wrote them, right? Because Omega really wouldn't be here helping if it wasn't benefiting his mission in some way. His overall messed up mission. Rouge, again, I like how they're trying to make Rouge actually a decent character. She's actually a pretty good character when written correctly, because in Sonic Adventure 2, a lot of people forget that she's, besides being manipulative, she's actually quite intelligent. Like, she's smarter than she appears, because a lot of people just see the fan service, or they see the fan art and think, oh, she's just fan service. Like I said before, there's more to her than that. Like, you're forgetting, she's the original one that put doubt in Shadow's heart during the dark story of Sonic Adventure 2. And pretty much the glue holding Team Dark together, so she plays a really important part. She may be a thieving bat after a certain echidna's jewels. Phrasing. But there's more to her than just being fan service. Anyway, like I said, art's good, writing's good. Besides that major plot point I brought up, other than that, I'm digging where they're going with this now for this crisis now happening. I'm wondering who they're going to send, or who Amy might send for backup now that Sonic's infected, Shadow's infected fully. He's a full Zombot now. Rouge can't really do anything to really help fight. I'm imagining she's going to be in charge of now helping everybody in the truck to escape. So Omega can't be infected. He's the best ally they have right now, and so is General. But General is aboard the ship, and I imagine he's going to be protecting Cream, Vanilla, and the rest of the survivors from that area on that ship. Silver is still hospitalized, maybe. It might have been a couple of, maybe some time has passed since Silver got hospitalized after the explosion in one of the previous issues. I'm trying to think who else is here. Blaze has been absent for a while. I wonder where she is and what she's doing. Knuckles is still on Angel Island. That's what I mean by I love the way these stories are going because you never know who might show up. I know people are still reading ahead and, you know, everybody's like, oh, I know in issue number 22 this character shows up. It's going to be great. Like, Wolfie, wait till issue number 25 when freaking, I don't know, Mephiles shows up. You're going to be so excited. Don't spoil it for me. I'm reading it as it goes. I know people like to read ahead, but I like the surprise of looking at the next issue and be like, oh my god, they're here. So please don't spoil the surprise. That being said, I'm really curious who the backup may be. Maybe Tangle and Whisperer, could be Amy herself. We don't know. There's so many characters in the story and more still being written in, new and old. So you never know who might show up. It's like as the book continues and the story advances, we see more characters starting to show up in places we didn't expect. As of now, again, the best hope we have against the Zombot virus is Omega and General, and that's 2 against this now growing army. Sonic can still help, but I'm imagining Sonic is eventually gonna run out of steam here, right? He can't keep, I mean, he's a runner, but he can't keep running forever. The infection will eventually get him, unless Tails can find that cure. Keep working, Tails. We believe in you, little buddy. Man, this is great. I love this story. I love the Zombot arc. Apparently, Ian said this was a story originally planned for the old Archie comics before that got shut down, so he just adapted this story for the new IDW stuff. Again, this is what I heard. And I think that should about do it for my review of issue number 19. I will give this one a 8.3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought of this book. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Werewolf Wolfie for more videos like this one if you haven't already. And I have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel there. Find it at patreon.com/werewolfwolfie. And every other information you need will be below in the description of the video. For now, guys, yeah, the next video will be issue number 20. Hopefully my comic store will get that on time. I'm finally kind of catching up, guys. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Is there anything I need to say? No, I think I'm done here. Stay tuned, everybody. This video is sponsored and paid for by my 2 patrons, Hedge and Green. Thank you guys so very much for the support. If you guys would also like to show support for the channel, you can visit my Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfwolfie. Any amount you pledge is very much appreciated. Thanks for the support as always, guys. A link should be in the description below, or it should pop up on the video. Goodbye for now.